Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In: a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm gonna give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, anything about movies. I'm your host Chase Lee, as in that lower third right there, because I recently figured out how to work this shit on Google Hangout. And guys, this is episode 117. That's fucking nuts. And hey, listen, if you were searching on the internet for some weird random donkey porn and you accidentally came across my podcast and you're not a movie fan, well, shit, maybe I can convince you to be one. So with that being said, guys, this episode, we're going to go over some news, some trailers that dropped, and our reviews of Deadpool and Zoolander 2, and a brief review of How to Be Single, because I didn't see that because I just didn't fucking want to. And then, of course, box office results for the weekend. But I'm not here alone. Now, listen, you know, I know you guys just love to hear me talk for like 2 hours, and that's fantastic and everything. But you know, it is nice to have people on to bounce stuff off with and stuff. So I have brought on a fellow movie reviewer on YouTube, and he's been watching my shit for quite some time. That would be Matt. So how you doing, man?
Doing great, Chase. How you doing?
You know, it's a Sunday morning, and that's another thing. It is Valentine's Day, and you know, to all the people out there that are celebrating this day, you go for it, man. You do you. And I'm going to dedicate this episode to the girl I'm dating. So there you go, if you were watching and listening right now. So, yeah, Matt, I think the question that I have on my mind is how in the hell did you find me? Were you like in this random warehouse somewhere and someone held a gun to your head and they're just like, hey, listen, do you want to have you want to be castrated or you want to listen to this terrible show? And you accidentally chose it, and then like you just somehow got attached to it. Can you just explain to me like why?
Yeah, that was actually the way. I was just in a warehouse, and you know, they made me do it. But actually, it was, I think, last June or something. I was looking for reviews of Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, and I found yours, and I watched it, and I was like, this guy's all right.
This guy, he's whatever. He's a fucking idiot, but you know, I'll follow him. Yeah, no, that was I saw that at the Dallas Film Festival last year, and that was like one of the last movies I reviewed before I went to the hospital that week. So yeah. Thanks for watching, man. And you know, here's the deal. Like, I don't mind bringing people on my podcast, and you know, Matt's been a very he's been a very responsive fan, and so I'm not going to just drag him on some random episode and be like, yo, Matt, let me waste your time. Let's talk about, I don't know, fucking Daddy's Home for an hour. That's not going to work, folks. I usually try to bring people on to talk about, you know, a couple good movies and kind of counteract back and forth, or like, you know, a very big movie or something. I'm not going to drag them on and talk about smaller shit. It's just not how I roll. I don't want to waste their time. So I thought this weekend would have been perfect because we get to talk about Deadpool, which is, you know, everyone's, you know, kind of jizzing over right now, rightfully so. And then we'll talk about Zoolander 2, which I don't want to jizz over because it's quite awful. So, yeah. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And let's get this started. So, Matt, since you are the guest, I will let you choose the first news topic to discuss.
Let's go with, I guess we'll start out with the Invisible Man news.
Okay, so the news is Universal wants to try to reboot all their monster franchises, and they're going to do it with The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise, which is fucking weird, and it gets even weirder. So the Invisible Man is a part of like that monster squad, if you will, you know, with the Frankenstein, werewolf, mummy, Swamp Thing, Invisible Man, etc. Johnny Depp is being eyed to do the Invisible Man. What? It's like Universal just sat down and they're just like, okay, we need to really, you know, make these movies semi-good. So they're actually going after big-name stars. I'm actually surprised Johnny Depp would even consider doing something like this because he's not going to be seen half the time. Like, he's going to be fucking invisible. So I don't know what to think about this. It's very good things, but it's like, man, Universal really wants to start a franchise with these monsters. So, I mean, as far as me personally, I like it. I like the news. I think it's good to add talent, and I'm always a huge fan of Depp, not so much. But I mean, if you guys watch Black Mass as of late, you know that he still got his acting chops. So I think with him playing the Invisible Man, I think it'll be great. Matt, do you remember? I don't know if you've ever seen this. Did you ever see Hollow Man starring Kevin Bacon?
I did not see Hollow Man.
Okay, so basically in the movie he like makes himself invisible and like he's like a creeper. He's like spying on women and stuff. It's really weird. And so every time when I think of like the Invisible Man, I think of Hollow Man, and like that's my like dirty mind going to work. But I mean, what do you think about this news? Do you think adding Johnny Depp to this type of movie is good? I mean, do you like what Universal's doing so far with these monster movies? Like, just tell me what you think.
I think it's definitely good to add Johnny Depp because obviously it's like you're not going to go wrong adding talent because Johnny Depp is really great still. Like you said with Black Mass, he did really good as Whitey Bulger. But I think also they did add Tom Cruise in there, right?
Yeah, he's going to be in the Mummy movie.
Getting their roster filled out with a bunch of good people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely good for them to add Johnny Depp. Even though, are they still going to keep the guy from Dracula Untold?
No. If anything, I'm glad they're going to redo that whole thing because that movie was a huge flop. So I think this is like they're going to try to like reboot this whole like type of franchise with their monsters and stuff. So I think they're going to recast Dracula for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's no mistake to add talent. And listen, I'm on Johnny Depp's side. Like, has he done a ton of shitty movies? Sure. But if you look at his catalog, the guy is super diverse. There's no denying that. I mean, watch movies like Donnie Brasco or Blow or even Black Mass as of late. The guy still got it. He just, okay, let's think about it this way. If you were Jack Sparrow and you wanted to quit after the first movie, and Disney offered you $20 million or $30 million to come back and do it again, do not sit there and look at me in the face and say you would not do it, okay? Anyone would. I would fucking do it. If I could do 5 of them and get paid that much, I would do it in a heartbeat. Would it damage my career? Sure. But hey, it's a good payday. So
I would commit a murder to watch you play Jack Sparrow.
Oh God, that would be quite embarrassing and very awful. So if I get ever into the acting game, and I have done some acting in my short films, it would not be a drunken pirate. I would do something even more lame. So that's how I would introduce myself. So that's the first piece of news. So that's pretty great. So I'll pick the second one. So The Revenant, it's getting a lot of buzz, especially with its Golden Globe wins and Leo winning pretty much every acting award available. And the Oscars are in a couple weeks, so all the other awards like the Producer Guild and the Directors Guild are happening. And the Directors Guild awards just happened. Now, when the Oscars happen, when you are voting for Best Director, it is voted on by your peers and the actors and so on. It's all the people that are in your industry and do what you do. Now, the news is that for the Directors Guild, so it's a bunch of directors voting on directors, Alejandro Inarritu, the director of The Revenant, won. Like, essentially, like, won, it's like, equivalent to Best Picture or whatever. So I find that fascinating. Because when I saw The Revenant in early December, I walked out and I tweeted this. It is on my timeline. You can see it. I said, and I predicted, Lubeski is going to get his third one in a row for cinematography, and Inarritu is going to get his second one in a row for directing, and Leo's going to win his first one. Now, with this DGA win, I think Inarritu has even a better shot at the Oscars now than ever. Now, for me personally, I think he should win it. With that being said, though, I actually think George Miller from Mad Max Fury Road, has a great shot too. But with the DGA win, it's kind of like with the Screen Actor Guild, where if you win that, you're pretty much solidified in that category. Like Leo won it, so he's probably going to win Best Actor. Brie Larson, Best Actress. So with Inarritu winning the DJ, Matt, do you feel like he's got a better shot at the Oscar now? Or do you think it's Miller's game, or hell, do you even think it's Adam McKay's game? I want to know your thoughts. I haven't ever talked to you about the Oscars.
I definitely think that Inarritu has a better shot now at the Oscar. I guess mainly because last year, and I think that if he does win this is gonna induct him to the little like Oscar club, I guess, because there's like a group of them that like that they would win if they get nominated, like Jennifer Lawrence and Meryl Streep and all them, like they're guaranteed. So I think that he's definitely got a very good shot. I don't necessarily think he deserves it, but I know you might disagree with that because I know you were really, really like The Revenant. I didn't as much. I would definitely say I'm voting for George Miller in that category, but I definitely think that Inarritu has probably the best shot to win.
Well, and the thing is, like, I don't disagree with you. If Miller wins, dude, that's totally awesome. Like, when you watch Mad Max Fury Road, it is a director's movie. That guy poured his heart and soul into that movie, and so did Inarritu with The Revenant. So, to be honest with you, I don't care who wins. If it's one of them two, I'm all cool with that. And before we move on, I have to mention, Matt is now one of my favorite people because I didn't notice the background until just now. Saw is one of my favorite franchises ever, and he's got the coolest Saw poster in the background. So,
but you didn't include the Saw news.
The fact that they're making it number 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not excited.
No. Listen, as much as I love the franchise, I think 7 ended on a good note, and I kind of just wish that those 7 movies would be there. I don't want to see an 8th one at all. Yeah.
I just think that like I'm like a big fan of just like awful horror movies, especially like just horrible sequels. Like I love Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. Like it's awful. Like nobody fucking likes that movie, but like I don't know. I think this
yeah, it's just one of those franchises where I love to death. I actually have all 7 of them on Blu-ray, and I think they're actually really good stories. So anyone that disagrees with me can suck it. But the thing is, like, 7 ended on a good note. I don't want to see number 8, but if they make it, just make it good. That's all I care. All right, so Matt, I'll let you go for the next piece of news.
All right. I guess we'll group together 2 of these. So we'll go with Transformers.
Okay. Paramount, what the hell are you doing? Listen, the Transformers movies are not good at all. I do not like the fact that Michael Bay is coming back for number 5. That's already bad enough. But you make it worse when you say the 5th one's going to come out next year in June, and 6 and 7 are literally going to come out a year after each other. So you're treating Transformers like a $1 hooker right now. You were just like, oh, every 2 or 3 years is fine, but no, we're going to churn them out like a goddamn belt line in a factory. You're just like, all right, we're going to have this one and that. Like, the quality of these movies are already not good. So why on earth would you want to space them out now with a year in between each other? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Unless they change their atmosphere or their tone for these movies, they're going to be awful. But guess what? These movies make a shit ton of money. The last 2 of them made over $1 billion worldwide. Keep that in mind. But Paramount, here's the deal. If you take your time with them, at least I will know that you put care into your movies and not just be like, well, we're going to have one come out every single year. So that is a dumb fucking move. I hate that. Now it's going to like degrade the CGI even more. The CGI it's not that good to begin with, but when you pinch them out a year after each other, it's going to, I don't know, it's going to seem like a movie that Asylum made or something. So I don't know. I don't really like this news at all. It just shows us as consumers that they don't give a shit and they're just going to try to churn them out as fast as possible. So I fucking hate this. Matt, what do you think about it?
I wouldn't say I think they're somewhat watchable. For getting like a headache toward half of 4, but I definitely think it's not the best idea to do one after another, like year after year, because I think they're definitely going to degrade in quality even more than they already have. And like you said, the CGI won't even be as good because they don't have as much time to do it.
Yeah. There's
a terrible
idea.
There's still a possibility they could be fun, but there's probably not.
But here's the deal, though, is that we're 4 movies deep now, and we keep tricking ourselves, going, well, this one's gonna be good, this one's gonna be good, and it's just not good. Little fun fact, if I have not mentioned this to anyone, now I didn't see Transformers 4 in theaters. I didn't pay for it. I didn't rent it, so I didn't pay for it then. I got a free 3D Blu-ray copy of it for free because I won a contest. So I own it. I still haven't finished it, and I haven't given any money to it. So I think that's kind of interesting. That's back there somewhere. I haven't given one lick of currency towards it, and it doesn't deserve it. So yeah, that's terrible news, and Paramount just made my soul cry a little bit. So we're going to kind of lump these two final stories together because they tie into each other. When I go over the box office results in about, I'd say 45 minutes or so, you guys will be shocked on how much Deadpool made. And Fox was very smart, and they greenlit a Deadpool 2. And when I give you the numbers, you will see why. I'm really excited for this news because I'm sure, Matt, we will talk about it when we talk about the movie, but I'm super stoked for Deadpool 2 now. Just knowing that Fox has that confidence, and they're just like, you know what? We're going to lay our dick on the table, and we're going to go, you know what? We're going to keep making these R-rated superhero films. And this was even before the numbers came out. So, I mean, that's awesome. I'm glad that 20th Century Fox has got the balls to move on with the sequel. And leading into that, Ryan Reynolds, he's been on the circuit or whatever, and he says that X-Force is a priority for him. Now, X-Force, I'm not a huge X-Force knowledgeable person, so I think Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty much like a more hardcore version of X-Men, and they are very anti-hero-ish. And so and they have like fan favorites like Cable and stuff, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but towards the end of Deadpool, they pretty much allude to the fact that X-Force is probably going to come and stuff. So yeah, so Matt, what do you think about Deadpool 2 coming? Were you surprised? And what do you think about an X-Force movie?
I'm definitely not surprised about either of them, mainly due to the box office for Deadpool 2. But I think they greenlit this on like Friday or something. It was like before the numbers even came out, but like I think they already knew at that point that it was definitely a success. So I think greenlighting the sequel is very smart. It excites me a lot because I definitely would love to see a sequel with a
yeah.
I don't know as much as more of a fan would, but I think I heard someone say that it's kind of like Marvel's Suicide Squad, which definitely excites me because I'm really excited for Suicide Squads.
Mm-hmm. Man, this internet's crap. I hate my internet sometimes, guys. Oh man, Matt, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You keep cutting out, and I'm just like, man, my internet's so balls. It doesn't even allow anyone to come on. It's just like everyone fuck off. Like that's what my internet tells people. Yeah. So that's great news. I'm glad that 20th Century Fox is going to have more to do with their X-Men characters and franchises than just X-Men movies. Because as much as I love the X-Men movies, that's all they got right now. Because Fantastic Four has shit the bed, so they don't have that going for them. So if they have X-Men and X-Force going at the same time and having Deadpool cross over into the PG-13 X-Men universe, I think that's awesome. I'm glad that they're growing. And like I said, when we get to the fucking numbers, it's mind-blowing how much money this movie made. It is outstanding. So that is it for the news, guys. So any news stories you guys want to comment on, comment in the place over my face and let me know. All right, so let's get into some trailers. There was a nice slew of trailers that came out. So Matt, I'll let you go first. Which one would you like to talk about?
Let's go with we'll start off with the program because I did not even see this one.
Okay. So the program basically is the Lance Armstrong biopic when he was it shows the period of time when he was doping and stuff, and he lied about it, and then it came out that he was lying and he lied in front of Oprah and all that stuff. So I don't really need to describe the story. You guys really know the story, but in terms of the way it looks and the way it feels, it looks awesome. It looks like a really good biopic, and we're really gonna kind of see this guy's life crumble and lie to the public like this and stuff. And it doesn't look like the filmmakers are holding anything back. That's what I really like about this trailer. They really kind of punch you and go, listen, this guy, he fucked up, he done fucked up, and we're not going to shy away from it. And the other thing is that the guy playing Lance Armstrong is Ben Foster. I've been saying this ever since I saw Hostage back in high school. Ben Foster is one of the best actors out there, and he doesn't get enough work. He doesn't. And he doesn't get enough recognition. Like, the guy is incredible. I remember when I was I was a freshman in high school, and I saw Hostage, and I was like, who's this goth-looking motherfucker with the long black hair? He's creepy, he's sadistic, and he's somewhat intriguing. Like, you just can't take your eyes away from him. And then I looked it up. It's Ben Foster, and I was like, I want to follow this guy around. Not stalkerish. I mean, that'd be nice, because I'd be wondering what his secrets are. But Ben Foster, if you're watching this, don't call the cops. But anyways, no, he's a really great actor. He's very underrated. He doesn't get enough praise. And hopefully when Warcraft comes out, people will take more notice of him if he's good in the movie, which is great, because that will really help out the program. And it looks like an Oscar contender. It looks like if Ben Foster really delivers, he can maybe get a nomination or something. I don't know. But it looks great. He looks like Lance Armstrong. I love Ben Foster. I will watch anything with him in it. I'm down for it. So, Matt, do you like Ben Foster? Have you seen many of his movies?
Yeah, I couldn't really name one, but I remember him having a fond impression on me, I guess. But I would just, does this look like another, like, by the numbers type of biopic, sort of like The Theory of Everything or something like that? Or is it gonna be more like unpredictable? Like, do you think will this follow like the same like beats of his life and everything? And do you think this is gonna take any real changes?
I don't think it will. I think it's just going to primarily focus on the doping aspect of his life and how he lied on television, and then it came out that he actually doped and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be anything shocking, because, like I said, we all know the story. This was a big fucking story back in the day, and I think they're just going to primarily focus on that, which is not a bad thing. Like, I hope they can't bash him too hard. Yes, what he did was pretty deplorable in his field or whatever, but at the same time, you have to show that he's human and he made a mistake, and you have to show the consequences from that, but also show that he's a good person at heart. He just made a really bad fucking mistake. So I don't know. I just hope they balance it out, but it looks like it will be pretty good, and I think it's going to really anchor on Foster's performance. That's for sure. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So that comes out March or April or something like that, and hopefully it can last into Oscar season. So let's talk about this trailer called Mr. Right. Now, speaking of underrated actors, Sam Rockwell is in this, and he's in there with Anna Kendrick and stuff. Essentially, he plays an assassin that kills the people that hire him. It's really strange, and he falls in love with Anna Kendrick. The reason why I'm bringing this trailer up is because it is written by Max Landis. Now, Max Landis is very outspoken on the internet. That's for damn sure. And he wrote Chronicle. He wrote Victor Frankenstein. He wrote American Ultra. Here's the deal. I really like Chronicle a lot, and I thought American Ultra was whatever. And I didn't see Victor Frankenstein, but I heard very mixed things about it. So with Max Landis doing another movie and watching this trailer, it looks fun, but it doesn't look like it's anything new. Now, the one thing I do appreciate about Landis is that he does take traditional ideas and he twists them. Like Chronicle, he does a twist on found footage movies and makes it like a superhero film at the same time. American Ultra is like Jason Bourne meets Pineapple Express, which is a nice combination. And Victor Frankenstein, I hear it focuses more on Igor. So he does take nice twists. But this trailer it looks very generic, but I am, I guess, still fascinated because Max Landis is pretty creative when it comes to his writing. So, Matt, did you see the Mr. Right trailer, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, I saw it, and I was surprised that it looked a little bit generic to me. Like, it looked like a simple, like, I think, isn't it Lionsgate or something?
Yeah.
I think it just looks like a simple, like, action comedy that they're gonna throw on demand or digital HD or whatever, and just kind of brush off in a few months. But a few months ago, my friend Ahil on Twitter actually got to see this at TIFF, I think, and he said it was actually really good. So that excited me, but I was a little let down by how the trailer left me.
Yeah, and I think like the two main reasons I'm actually curious about it is Sam and the writer. I mean, that's strictly what it is. But yeah, it looks like it'd be a pretty fun time. And hey, if I get an invite to it, I'll go see it. I'm not gonna like turn it down. But it looks fun. But hey, listen, if Early Buzz is out there saying it's pretty good, then I'm willing to give it a shot. So, okay. Now we're getting down to what I think are the two best trailers of the week. Matt, would you like to save good old Batman for last?
Yeah, let's save him for last.
Okay, so let's talk about the Purge election year. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I like the concept of the first Purge, but I didn't think it really worked as a horror film. It actually works really well as a thriller. Now, with the Purge Anarchy, the sequel, I love that movie. I don't know what it was, but I remember when I walked out of it, I was like, that works really well as like a revenge thriller more than a horror film, because these movies are produced by Jason Blum, which is like one of my favorite people in Hollywood. He's like a horror fanatic, and he like produces all these horror films, and he produced my favorite film of 2014, Whiplash. So I'm a huge fan of Anarchy, and the first Purge is fine, and I really like Ethan Hawke a lot, but I just didn't really care for it that much, but I really love the concept. But the second one was awesome. This trailer is fucking dope. It's really fascinating to me that they actually care about the story, and they actually care about progressing it and not making it a rehash of just, someone stuck in a house or something. Like the first one, it's focused inside of a house and with a family and stuff. The second one, they're out on the streets. Now, if you guys don't know anything about the Purge movies, essentially for 24 hours, one day out of the year, people can commit murder. They can do rapings, or they can defile buildings. They can do whatever they want, and it's fair game. That's an interesting idea. Now, in the sequel, they're out in the city, and they're running away from people, and they're killing people that take advantage of the Purge and really are like awful. So it's almost like the people that are like vigilantes against them, they're like anti-heroes because they're killing people in the Purge, but they're worse than them. It's fascinating. So for the third one, they actually have like I think it's like either a president or a senator or something. I think it's like a senator, and this senator actually wants to ban the Purge. And there's a lot of people like higher up people, kind of like the Illuminati, that's like, oh fuck no, we're gonna keep this going because this is what people like throughout the year. And like the senator is like, no, it's awful, it's inhumane and stuff. So I'm just fascinated with this franchise because it keeps progressing in like a really awesome way. And this third trailer looks awesome. I love all the creepy masks that all the people have again. I love the feel of it. Frank Grillo is back. He's the guy that was in the second one. He's also Crossbones in the Marvel movies. But he played a really good Punisher type character in the second one, and it looks like he's going to do the same thing with the third one. And it looks like they're going to mix the first two, because if you watch the trailer for the third one, they're inside of the house at one point, and then they're back out in the city, and it just looks like it's going to be more chaotic than Anarchy. I'm really excited to see Purge election year. So, Matt, are you a fan of the Purge movies, and what do you think of this trailer?
I would say I'm definitely a fan of the Purge movies, because I overall I would say I'm more of a fan of Blumhouse. I just love their movies in general. I love what Jason Blum is doing. And for the first Purge, I would say I liked it. It's like a 6 out of 10 for me. It's just kind of like a fun like home invasion movie, but nothing too special. I would agree with you on the second one. I really thought that was a fun action movie, and I thought that like it definitely, this franchise works as more of just a thriller, and they focus on less of the horror aspect. Yeah. But yeah, for the third one, this trailer is really awesome, because I heard somewhere that it was going to be a prequel. But I watched the trailer and was like, wow, Frank Grillo's in this, and they're talking about the second one. So I thought that was really cool that they're branching off of that and continuing his story going, because I would say he's definitely the best part of the second one, because he is a really great actor and he carried that second one, I would say, for sure. So it's definitely cool to see that he's coming back again, and I like this dynamic he has with this senator in the trailer. So I think this could definitely be a really fun movie, and I'm excited to see this.
I think what fascinates me even more is that, well, first of all, Blumhouse, Jason Blum is like one of my favorite producers working right now, because the thing with him is that, yeah, he produces a lot of movies, and he is very well aware that some of them may not be good, but he tries to produce them to the best of his ability, and you have to give him props for that, because he is a producer with money in mind. That's what Hollywood's a business. And when you have Jason Blum, a guy that will make a movie for like $5 million and it opens up to 30, you just timed your budget by 6 times already in the first weekend. Like, he's smart. He's a smart fucking dude. And the thing is, like, people give him crap all the time because he produces a lot of movies and some of them are junk, which I agree with. But he does create little gems like the Purge franchise or like Whiplash or even Unfriended. I actually like Unfriended quite a lot. So there's movies like those that will come out of nowhere and you're just like, well, damn, that was really good. And he's also produced the Insidious films, which I really love. He's produced the paranormal movies, which, you know, most of them are good. I actually am a huge fan of Paranormal Activity, actually, and I like all of them except for Ghost Dimensions. That one can go sit on a cactus. But yeah, no, he's one of my favorite producers. In the Purge franchise, it looks like this is like an Insidious franchise where he's really taking care of it, and it's like they actually care. It's amazing. And when you watch the trailer, it's brutal. It is so brutal. Like, it looks like it's going to be more violent than the second one, which is, there was a couple scenes where I was like, damn, like, it felt like it was real. I felt like I was watching real people getting killed by other people, and it wasn't even a movie. So Purge election year. And the one thing that excites me is that Blumhouse has the confidence to put this out July 4th weekend. That is amazing. Like, because it's going to go up against Independence Day. Like, Independence Day, this big budget spectacle, is going to go against this like smaller type of thriller, and I'll guarantee you that Independence Day will do better business opening weekend. Don't discount The Purge. Anarchy and the first one both opened up to very big numbers when they came out. So do not be shocked if election year, if Independence Day opened up to like 75 or 100 million. Do not be shocked if The Purge 3 opened up to like 30 or 40. It's just going to happen. So yeah, guys, I fucking love The Purge. So I really like. However, not as excited about this next trailer that we're going to talk about. Like, I'm even more ecstatic on this final trailer. So, Matt, would you like to introduce our last trailer, and could you set it up for us?
Yeah, so after, I think, the Comic-Con trailer that everyone loved for Batman v Superman,
yeah,
we had another trailer which had some very choppy editing that a lot of people were very negative against.
Yeah.
We have been delivered a third trailer, which has definitely more of a like fun, like just rock and roll fucking like beat the vibe, and like this seems more fun. These other two trailers seemed like they were taking themselves too seriously, I would say. But this definitely looks like it's just gonna be just a huge brawl. Like, they completely shied away from the Doomsday aspect that they were very very focused on in the second trailer, and they're definitely just like focusing on Batman v Superman in this trailer, which I think is definitely what they should have been doing the whole time. So I really like this trailer. What did you think?
Oh, it was just fucking awesome. I just the way it opens up with Batman going into that warehouse, kicking everyone's ass. Like, this is a brutal Batman. Like, he was like, throwing dudes at walls, and like the one guy, he punched and like he flew down to the ground. Like, it looked like it cracked his neck, and I was like, holy shit! Like, this guy is awesome. So that was really cool. And another favorite part is at the very end when Superman throws his punch and Batman stops it. And you could see the look on Superman's face going, holy shit, I'm absolutely boned right now. And it just gives you the chills. I'm so excited for this movie. It comes out in like a month, guys. And this is the the final trailer that Warner Brothers is dropping for this bad boy. So, yeah, the Comic-Con trailer, epic. Even the tease back in last April, which was really good. The one that like had that IMAX exclusive or whatever. So that was really good. The Comic-Con trailer just blew everyone away. And then the Doomsday trailer, we like 3/4 of the trailer was great, and then not the last half. But yeah, this one was just too good. It was just really good. And I think for the opening section alone with Batman in the warehouse, that like is like the best thing I've seen out of this marketing so far. Because this is a different kind of Batman than we are used to, and it just it just gives me chills. It's so good. So yeah, the final Batman v Superman trailer came out this week, and I think that's the winner for sure, hands down. But the Purge election year is my second favorite, maybe my favorite. I don't know. I'll go back and forth. Matt, what was your favorite trailer that came out this week?
I'd say Purge, just because I'm not as excited for Batman v Superman. I'm definitely gonna see it. Obviously, it looks fun, but I would say Purge I'm more excited for than Batman v Superman in second place.
Okay, yeah. Hey, listen, I'm excited for both of them. So it's very strange that a Blumhouse movie got my excitement just as much as a Batman and Superman movie. So yeah, that's it for the trailers, guys. So what did you guys think of the trailers? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite? Comment in the place up on my face and let me know. Now, the appetizers are done. The starting portions are done, and now we're getting into the meat. We're getting into the central theme of this podcast. We're going to review Deadpool and Zoolander 2. Now, I don't know what to start with. Matt, do you want to start out with a high or do you want to start out with a low?
Let's start out with the high.
Okay, so let's talk about Deadpool. That was obvious. Like, did you guys really think Zoolander 2 was going to beat Deadpool? No. All right, so Deadpool came out, and this is a Marvel character. He is an anti-hero of sorts, and he is a part of the X-Men universe, and he is owned by Fox. So he will not be in the Disney Marvel movies, which he wouldn't be anyways because this was a hard R movie. That is for damn sure. So that's pretty much the basic groundwork of his character. He's Wade Wilson. He's a mercenary. He kills people for a living, people that are really bad and stuff. And, you know, he has experiments put on him, and he turns into a superhero, and he can pretty much regenerate his body parts, and he's really good at fighting and gunplay. So, and he's got a nice, wicked sense of humor. So that's pretty much the character of Deadpool. And yeah, this was just one fucking awesome ride. So, Matt, let's do it like how I break it down in my reviews. So let's talk about the directing and writing first. Let's talk about some of the pros of the directing and writing. So I'll let you go first.
Overall, I would say the directing didn't really feel that special to me. It was pretty like simple stuff. There wasn't anything that really surprised me. It was very just like, it felt like the typical like Fox superhero or action movie. Like, there was a very jarring feel when they first cut back to Ajax, I think. But they cut back to him, and it's like that guy and his guards and everything. And I was like, it was a very like hard tonal shift. Like, it felt like just like a typical like Taken or Transporter or something for a second. Like it felt very Deadpool, and then all of a sudden felt like just generic like Fox action movie. But so I think the directing on that would have, he definitely any glaring flaws in the directing. I would just say that it wasn't very special to me. But the writing, on the other hand, it was very, very Deadpool. The jokes didn't really hit for me, but once again, I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, so I'm not that surprised that they didn't. But for a Deadpool movie, they definitely did a very, very good job in the writing department.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Guys, as you can tell from my fucking background, I'm a huge superhero film fan, and it's become one of my favorite genres. And hey, listen, I own all of the Marvel movies. I own most of the X-Men movies. I think I have like 30 superhero movies over there somewhere. And I gotta tell you, out of many years of watching superhero, even back when I was 8 years old when Blade came out, this has got to be one of the most true adaptations of a comic book character I've ever seen. I think what the writers did and what the director did very well is capture the tone and the essence and just the overall feel-good nature of this character in terms of really capturing the humor and the human aspects of this character. Because you can't just have a jokey character for an hour and 45 minutes, because then he's just going to seem like one big, joke, and he's not going to have any depth to him. But they really found a way to make him likable, even though he kills people. They made him very humorous. They made him very, I guess the correct word is optimistic, because this guy's face is fucked up, and he really had a number on him when he was experimented on. He's also got like that humor helps him go through life and really just kind of accept what he has and just have fun with it. But deep down, he's a very human character, and that was what makes him very likable. But I think what the writers did and what the director did very well is capture the tone and the essence of the Deadpool character. And I think they really just leapt him off of the comic book pages onto the big screen. I think they did a very, very good job with that. But going into the cons, I just have a couple. One is that most of the jokes worked for me, but some of them did not. Now, if you guys know me, I'm a very big fan of raunchy comedies. I will stand up for people like Seth Rogen. I will stand up for people like Judd Apatow and stuff. But the thing is, when I see a raunchy comedy, I can only hear a dick and fart joke, so many times. If you make it very creative and it catches me off guard, that makes it better for me, and it makes it a little bit more humorous. Now, I felt like they were trying a tad too hard in some scenes. Now, that's not to say I didn't enjoy myself. I was still entertained throughout the entire movie. But there were some jokes where I was like, man, they tried too hard. But I really appreciate the director, Tim Miller, giving the actors this kind of like free-range improv to really just kind of let them kind of go at it, because it really does add to the fun nature of the film. But some of the humor didn't work for me. The other con I have is that, Matt, I don't know how you feel about this, but I felt like they should have explained a little bit more about this evil organization that kidnaps people and makes them into super slaves. I really wish they, I don't know, explained a little bit more and kind of had a little bit more to Ed Skrine's character. He's the bad guy in this. He did a very good job, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I just felt like they should have done a little bit more explaining a bit more with the evil organization and just the characters. When it just felt like they were just bad guys, and that's kind of all we knew. So what are some of the cons for you about the writing and directing besides the whole humor thing?
I agree with you on the whole evil organization thing. They could have expanded upon that. That would have been really cool to see, like, some of the other people and like what they got. But I mean, it seemed like most of the people just got fucked over. So, yeah. But it could have been fun to see what are the other things that they did. But I would say for the directing, the cons, definitely just like they could have done more like stylistic things. Like it just felt very generic for me. Okay. So mainly it was that was my main issue, was that they could have done so much more. There's so much potential there for the like Deadpool. Like he could have done so many different things, but like it would just felt kind of standard to me.
So do you think like maybe since they went full R with this, and like Tim Miller had this gigantic sandbox to play with, and the fact that he didn't have any limits, you felt like he didn't expand those limits enough? Is that what you're kind of saying? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a totally reasonable explanation. But yeah, just for me personally, I think he did the best he could capturing the tone of this character, because this is a character up until now no one really even knew. Even I didn't know much about the Deadpool character, but I knew that he was a gray line type of character, to where yes, he did good things, but he also murdered people, which is a very funny joke in the movie when he's introduced to Colossus and stuff, which is from a PG-13 X-Men universe, and Colossus is like, being a superhero is having good morals and stuff, and then, he's just killing people over there. So it's pretty great in that regard. Oh, and that's another thing. I think they integrated the kind of PG-13 X-Men into this universe very well, and I think putting Deadpool into their universe would work out pretty well too. So let's get into the acting. I don't have many cons with it, but the pros are that Ryan Reynolds, this guy was made to play this character. He just was. And I've been a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds ever since Van Wilder. And do not discredit the guy for not having any acting chops. You guys need to watch Buried and watch movies like The Voices. This guy, he's a full range actor. He can do comedy. He can do drama. He can do dark comedy. He can do romantic comedies. The guy, he's very good. He's very talented. And I just think that this character suits him because he is a very wisecracking type of dude that's very likable. And I think he captured Wade Wilson very well. TJ Miller is a great sidekick. I've been a huge fan of TJ Miller ever since She's Out of My League back in 2010. And I really like him in Silicon Valley and stuff, and he's a really good addition. I just love the fact that those two are riffing back and forth with their improv and just line after line after line. That's what they're good at, and I think that makes it more enjoyable for us as an audience member to see that they're having fun as well on set. Ed Skrein. Now, I have been fully vocal on my channel about this. I absolutely fucking hated that Transporter movie that came out last year, and I don't think it's Ed Skrein's fault, but dude, you left Game of Thrones for that movie. Come on, man. However, he's really good in this movie. I thought he was menacing. When he was operating on Ryan Reynolds in the scenes that he was operating on, like I felt claustrophobic. I felt like I was in Ryan Reynolds' shoes, and I was like, dude, I just want to like kick this guy's ass. So Ed Skrein's really good, and I forgot to mention in Ryan Reynolds' performance. The one thing I was really surprised with about this movie is that it had a lot of like emotional depth to it. I love the fact that like when he was in those torture scenes, yeah, he had those funny one-liners, but there were actually some serious dramatic scenes going on. I was like, that's actually pretty good. And I felt for Ryan Reynolds when he was trying to go after his girl and looked like a testicle with teeth, like he says in the movie and stuff. So I appreciated the depth in his performance. So I forgot to mention that. Everyone else, the Colossus was fine. The other X-Men was fine. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And I guess the only con I have is Gina Carano. Listen, is this woman like extremely good looking and can kick my ass? Yeah, she can. But the problem is she is not a good actress. I still do not like her acting abilities. Now, is she really good at like action scenes and like choreography and fighting? Oh, dude, she's amazing at it. I loved her scenes with Colossus and when they were fighting in the junkyard. However, every time when she spoke and delivered a line, I was like, no. She's kind of like Ronda Rousey in that sense where I'm just like, you two just need to stick to the action sequences. So, or get better at it. Just keep practicing. But for me, Gina Carano was the only like down part with me. So, Matt, what are some of the pros and cons with you in terms of the acting and the performances with these characters?
Well, I definitely say the biggest pro is probably Ryan Reynolds. He was really, really great as Deadpool. A lot of people have been making the comparison. Robert Downey Jr. to Iron Man is Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool now. He's really owning this character, and I couldn't see anyone else playing him now. But like you said with the whole TJ Miller thing, I thought that they could have done more like witty banter, bouncing things off of each other with TJ Miller and Ryan Reynolds. Because I really do love TJ Miller. I just watched, I rewatched Cloverfield the other day, and I was reminded at how much like little witty things he adds to that movie. And just like all the films that he's in, he does add a lot of great comedy to it. So I think that him and TJ Miller really work well off of each other, and I would have liked to see more of that. And one thing you didn't mention, I thought that the girlfriend was actually pretty good. Yeah, I was surprised. They focused on her a little bit more than I thought they would. Yep. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead also surprised me because I actually really enjoyed her character. I thought annoying from the trailers, but I actually thought that she worked well off of Deadpool and Colossus. Also, Colossus, I thought he was really fun. I liked his accent. I didn't even know he had like a Russian accent, so I thought that.
Oh, I gotta love the internet.
If Hulk was like nervous or something, like he was very timid almost, like with the part where Gina Carano like falls down. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever she gets thrown into the thing, I thought that was really funny. That added a whole another layer to his character, even though it was kind of a joke. But overall, the acting was really good. I don't really think I could name a weak link, but if I had to, I would say Ed Skrein.
Okay.
I don't completely agree with you on Transporter Refueled. I would say it's definitely a really bad movie, but there are some really funny parts in that movie.
Yeah.
But you're gonna make me late, and like I don't know, it's really really stupid. But I thought he was actually okay in that movie, but he was good in this movie. I think he could have done better, but his villain kind of felt like the typical Marvel villain. Like it's kind of just a one-off thing. I couldn't really see his character going anywhere other than like he does something bad to the hero has to beat him at the end, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally understand it. I mean, I just think it was because the last thing I saw him in was Transport Refueled, to where I was like, this is a huge step up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot to mention Vanessa, the girl that plays Ryan Reynolds' girlfriend in the movie. Dude, they had great chemistry. Like I bought into it. I was like, dude, I don't want to see anything happen to her. So I really do appreciate that on that standpoint for sure. And just like what Matt was saying, I love the fact that Colossus, he's a big fucking dude, and he was so nice. He was a gentleman, and it was really funny. Like if like I'm not spoiling anything, but if like Deadpool like shot someone or killed someone, and blood like sprayed on Colossus, I think what's fascinating me the most is that Colossus is plucked from this PG-13 universe, and he's put in this R-rated universe, and Colossus is not used to like death and stuff around him. So like it was just funny to see like blood hit him, and it's like that's pretty fucking rad because Deadpool doesn't care, and Colossus has a different moral mindset than he does. So yeah, I think that overall the acting was very good, even though there were a couple things where me and Matt didn't really agree with. But I think overall the acting is very strong. And I guess counteract with T.J. Miller, yeah, could he have done a little bit more? Sure, but at the same point, it's not really his movie. You know, he's like a nice sidekick. And there was like one line where T.J. Miller said that I was like laughing super hard, where he was like, "I would go with you, but I don't." Just stuff like that. Just like it cracks me up with his dark humor and stuff. So moving on to the cinematography. I really like the way this was shot. I think there were a lot of scenes that were set up, especially in the action sequence, especially on the bridge and stuff, or even the junkyard. There were panels that were ripped out of a comic book. Like just the way stylistically, the way they were shot with its kinetic energy and stuff. I thought the action was really well done, and I thought the cinematography was really well handled. And Deadpool's CGI, when he was flipping up in the air and stuff, it was really crisp. It was clean. I was like, dude. 20th Century Fox gave him a low-ass budget, and they still managed to pull this off. So I thought the way it was shot was really well done. If I had to say one con about the cinematography is it's not on Deadpool's fault. It's 20th Century Fox's fault in the fact that they didn't really give them that much money to begin with. And so there are a few scenes where it kind of looks cheap. And it's not, like I said, it's not their fault. They didn't have that big of a budget. So it did look a little cheap, but I will excuse them strictly for the budget. But I thought the way the action scenes were handled, it made it really well done, and it was just so much fun to watch. So I'd say the cinematography is really well done, despite it looking a little cheap. So, Matt, what do you think about the cinematography overall? What are your pros and cons about it?
I'd agree with you on the cheap part, because it definitely did feel a little cheap in some parts. But like you said, they did have a low budget, and they did do what they could when he used to like flip look with the Deadpool CGI.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, the cinematography once again felt kind of standard to me until there was a few moments where they did something interesting, but it was mainly just for a joke. Like there's a part when he like sits down in the cab and it's like the camera's like under his crotch or something. It's like, that's an interesting angle, but it's really only there for a joke. But yeah, definitely it wasn't anything too special. They did do the action scenes pretty well. But once again, I just feel like there's more potential here for like the part when it just pauses on that, I was like, that is like right out of a comic book. Like that felt like just like a Deadpool comic.
Are you talking about because you were cutting off? Are you talking about the scene where he was hit and he was like flying at like a horizontal?
That too as well.
Yeah.
Mainly any of the parts when it just like slows down and it's just like it feels just like a frame of a comic book. Like
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I think it's really well shot and stuff. And like I said, with the cheapness factor, they did what they could, and I think what they were given, they used it to their advantage in that regard. So as far as the editing and the special effects go, I gotta say the special effects for this movie are pretty well done for a $58 million movie, especially from Fox. Like, folks, keep this in mind. Fantastic Four's budget was like $110 million, yet some of their scenes looked like shit. In Deadpool, they had half of that budget, and Deadpool looked awesome when he was animated, like flipping up in the air and stuff. So, for me personally, I think the special effects are really well done, especially on Colossus. Colossus looked fucking dope. Like this was actually the best version of Colossus that we've had in an X-Men type of movie. So, I give them props for that. As far as the editing goes, this has got to be one of the fastest paced movies I've ever seen. Like, listen. Is this a movie that you may find like not that funny and stuff? I totally get that. But you cannot deny the fact that this movie's entertaining from start to finish. At least it's got a fast-paced energy to it to where it's kind of infectious. Like from the opening credits, which are funny, by the way, leading into the final end-credits scene, it's like, dude, they had so much fun with this, and they were firing like 1,000 miles an hour at you. And even though some of the jokes didn't really work for me, I still had a smile on my face the entire time because of how much fun this movie was. So I thought the pace was like super kinetic and just so much fun. Like I said, it was infectious. I felt like I was having a lot of fun, which enhanced my theater experience even more. So, Matt, what do you think about the editing and the special effects overall?
I would say for sure the editing was actually really good. It was from start to finish. It was the pacing was completely like high octane. It was never letting me go. Even though I didn't really think the movie was all that funny, I was entertained the entire time, and I think that is partially due to how good the editing was. Yeah. And once again with the special effects and everything, I thought they did a pretty good job. Especially, I was surprised by how big the movie was getting towards the end. With the whole climax was actually in a very. It was just going to be like smaller, like warehouse scene or something, but like they actually did something and went to like it impressed me at how big they made their budget look, even though it was actually pretty small. So I thought they actually did really, really good with what they had with the special effects and the editing.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap up and give you my overall thoughts, guys, this is a fun movie. It just is. It's entertaining from start to finish. Some of the humor didn't really work for me, and I really wish they would kind of explored the villains a little bit more. But overall, guys, this has got to be one of my favorite comic book movies I've ever seen, just because of the true adaptation and the nature of this psychotic, likable, and funny character. It's something different. It's a breath of fresh air. Because as many superhero movies I see throughout the years, it's nice to every so often see one that's refreshing. And I think this year, in 2016 alone, because Deadpool has set the bar really fucking high, Deadpool is R-rated, and it's so humorous. And then we get Batman v Superman. It's a clash among titans. Civil War is something new that we haven't seen. Suicide Squad is something new. So as long as this genre keeps up in the ante and being a breath of fresh air, then you're going to have movies like this where it's just so fucking entertaining. I'm going to give Deadpool a B+. I think you guys should see this, and when we get to the numbers, you realize that a lot of people saw this movie. So, Matt, just your overall quick summary of the movie, and like, what would you give your grade or rate it as?
Overall, I would say this movie kind of left me in the middle of the road. I was very positive actually on it, as I was more positive than I thought it would be, because I didn't necessarily like this movie as much as I wanted to, but I think it's definitely probably the best Deadpool movie it can be.
Yeah.
It's very good for a Deadpool movie, but the problem is I just really don't care for Deadpool that much.
Okay.
So overall, I wasn't really as let down with it because I don't really like Deadpool. Overall, I would say I'd probably give this a C, just because it's kind of mediocre to me. But I'm very excited to see where they go with sequels and everything, because obviously once we get in the box office, we're going to see that the sequel is definitely going to get a higher budget. So I'm very excited to see that they're probably going to take more risks with the sequel, do more fun things, because they'll have more opportunities.
I totally agree, and I even put this in my written review, is that I cannot wait for the sequel, and I cannot wait until their budget is bigger, and Deadpool makes fun of the budget inside the movie. So I love the kind of the meta humor that's placed throughout and stuff. So yeah, guys, even though Matt gave it a C, that's still a positive rating actually. And I honestly haven't met anyone that would like give this below like a C-, to be honest with you. So at least Matt found it enjoyable and stuff, and like that's awesome. Like movies for different tastes and different people and stuff. I enjoy that. But I mean, hey, a C is still good. B+ for me. So I would still recommend it. Go check it out if you want something different for the superhero genre and just want some crazy fun, because that's definitely what it is. So Matt mentioned something about being disappointed. Well, let's talk about that. Okay. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to would you like to say your age on air?
I'm 17.
Okay, so you were born in what, 97? 98. Okay, so the first Zoolander came out when Matt here was that's 3 years old?
Yep.
It came out when I was in the 5th grade. I was 11 years old. Now, I remember when I watched Zoolander, I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, oh, it's dumb humor, just like Dumb and Dumber, and I really love Dumb and Dumber. And it was something kind of fresh on the comedy genre, and I was like, I dig it. I enjoy it quite a lot, and I do own it. It's somewhere in my collection. So I was kind of looking forward to the sequel, just kind of, because the trailers thus far haven't really kind of roped me in yet, and I was kind of disappointed in the trailers, but I was still curious because I was a huge fan of the first one. Zoolander 2 is the type of movie to where it suffers from the Dumb and Dumber 2 effect, where when the first one came out, it was semi-good, and it's got a really big cult following, but they waited so long to dump the sequel that our humor as a human race has progressed, and we don't really find that dumb humor to be viable anymore, which is ironic, because if I go back to watch the first Dumb and Dumber or Zoolander, I think they're very funny, but the sequels, not so much. But the thing with Zoolander 2 is you're going to be very confused by my rating, is that I love the absurdity of the story, and I think it fits really well for a Zoolander sequel, but it's just simply not funny, and that's my opening for that one. So, Matt, I'll let you go first. What are first of all, do you like the first Zoolander? Were you looking forward to the sequel? And yeah, just what were your expectations before you went into this thing?
I like the first Zoolander. I think it's a good comedy. I can see where a lot of people absolutely love it, but it's not like the funniest movie of all time to me. It's a good comedy, but there's a lot of people that absolutely adore it, and I can see where that comes in, but I just think it's good. So going into this, I was kind of excited because I liked the first one, but the trailers didn't really look all that funny to me. So going into this, I wasn't that excited, but coming out of it, I was extremely surprised because I actually really, really, really liked this movie. I thought it was actually really funny. I was surprised in like the first 5 minutes. I was like, I'm actually laughing. I didn't expect that. I was like, I'm a very like cynical person when it comes to movies, and I was surprised. I was like, I'm happy right now. I'm actually laughing. Like these were actually making me laugh, and I don't really laugh at that many comedies. Well, okay, that makes it seem like this is very special. Like it's not, but I just think it was funny to me.
Oh, wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call a battle that we're about to have because I didn't find this movie funny whatsoever, nor did I find it enjoyable, even though I like the craziness of the story. So I'll start this one off. Let's start with the directing and the writing. Now, Ben Stiller directed this movie, and to this day, I still think the best thing he ever directed was Tropic Thunder. But here's the deal with this one. I could see the passion behind Ben Stiller. I could see the kind of motivation to do this sequel because the first one's such a cult hit and stuff. So I can see the passion behind this movie. And that's all the positives I will give to it. For the story, I will say this. For the ridiculousness of this movie, I think it actually is a very good sequel, story-wise. So let's get into the negatives. This movie is simply not funny. I don't know what it is with dumb humor, but it's the same effect I had on Dumb and Dumber 2, where I was like, I see that they're trying to do the same jokes from the first one, and they're doing this weird blend of like smart and dumb humor and raunchy humor and violent humor, and it didn't work. I felt like the consistency and the tone with its humor was all over the fucking place, and I didn't really laugh whatsoever. I may have smiled at a couple parts, but overall, it just made it more painful to sit through because it just wasn't getting an emotion out of me, and I was like, I'm just not buying it. So that's what it boils down to ultimately, is the jokes and the humor. I just didn't really find it that funny or enjoyable, even though I kind of weirdly enjoyed the story of it. If you want to talk about the cameos and the way they were written in, most of them felt like they were forced. And I was like, it's just, why? I think I shook my head more times just asking myself, why was this even made? Because the first one didn't even make that much money. It didn't. It made like 60 million worldwide, so I don't know whose bright idea was to greenlight this bad boy. So that is the pros and cons of the directing and the writing for me. So Matt, tell me about like overall what you thought of the writing of it, the structure of it, and just Ben Stiller's directing.
I don't know what this was, but it just made me laugh. The directing I thought was pretty good from Ben Stiller. I absolutely 100% agree with you on the fact that Ben Stiller's best directorial work is absolutely Tropic Thunder. I think that movie is actually fairly underrated. People don't give it enough credit, but that's actually an excellent comedy. And absolutely Ben Stiller's best work. But I thought he was actually doing what he could have with this movie. It's not a movie that a lot of people expected to be good, and I guess it met those expectations for a lot of people. But I thought that he did a good job just encapsulating the absurdity of this story. Like, he didn't like take himself too seriously. He was like, this is a fucking stupid story, and he absolutely went there. And I think that also works with the writing on how like they really crafted a weird story that I was a little bit unpredictable. Even though the end, I would say I did kind of predict that certain things would happen, but overall, just like the certain like comedic aspects, like where they would go, I just thought that it was funny just how far they were going. Like, it's like they have like Owen Wilson in an orgy with like Ariana Grande, and just like, it's, I don't know, it just made me laugh. I guess that's comedy. It's subjective.
Yeah, I just felt like this is probably the most lazy I've ever seen Ben Stiller direct. I felt the passion there. I did. I just boils down to the subjectivity of the comedy, like you said. Just didn't find it funny. But like I said, on a weird, strange level, I would recommend it just for the absurdity of it. Because you're right. This is a story sequel that's like, it's nothing like you've ever seen before. Like, Zoolander is a ridiculous movie to begin with, but this sequel just like they amped it up to times 10 with the creativity of the story. I gotta give him props on that, but it just ultimately boils down to the laziness of the directing and the humor that it enveloped. Acting wise, I will say this: Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson were fine. They played their characters just like they did in Zoolander 1 15 years ago. Penelope Cruz was kind of wasted. I did like Ben Stiller's son. That kid, Cyrus Arnold, I think, is the actor's name. He was pretty good. I liked him. Will Ferrell was fine. This is what I'm saying. Like, everyone was fine. They were in their respective roles like they were back in the day. I just, whatever. I will say this. The one bright spot of this movie was Kristen Wiig. I did, like, smile a lot at her parts and stuff. I thought she was very obscene and just out there, but I really enjoyed her character. But as far as everyone's, like, acting and performance, they're fine. They were fine in their roles because they pretty much just got fitting like a glove, man. It was 15 years ago, and they just act like no time has passed. I would just say the one weak spot was Penelope Cruz. Pointless with her being there. Now, hear me out. She's a very attractive woman, and Javier Bardem just needs to divorce her, and she needs to come marry me. But until then, I will say that this was just a wasted role for her. And I like her as an actress quite a bit, actually. One of my favorite roles she's done is when she was in Vanilla Sky with good old Tommy Cruise, but I just thought she was wasted in this. But Matt, what do you think of overall, like, the performances and the acting from like Stiller and Wilson and stuff, and just what you think about that?
Once again, I'll agree with you. Ben Stiller did a really great job. He completely went into his role and did what he could. He completely became Derek Zoolander. This is his role. He knows what to do with it. Same with Owen Wilson. Both of them did a really good job. They completely slipped back into their characters. I wouldn't say that Penelope Cruz was necessarily wasted. She had some decent in it. She worked with them, I would say. Like, she had decent chemistry with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. And I thought their, like, sort of dynamic as, like, a trio, I thought that was kind of funny. But Kristen Wiig, she was actually really, really good. I was surprised because, like, when I first saw her, I was looking for Kristen Wiig, and I was like, then I realized I had seen her, like, 3 times on screen already because, like, her makeup is so, like, thick, and it's so, like, hard to even tell that that's her. And I thought that was just funny that they completely, like, just drenched her in makeup and you can't even tell who it is. But also, I guess it's a cameo, but so spoiler alert. But Fred Armisen, I thought his little guy was really funny. You can tell when you look at his character, it's like they chose every little aspect and you're like, how fucked up can we make a human being look? And it's like, it just made me laugh. Once again, it was just like, it's so ridiculous. It's like Fred Armisen as like this little guy. I just thought it was really funny. But overall, the acting I thought was really good. Everyone really gave their all.
And, well, it's funny. I don't think Fred Armisen's a spoiler. We'll just tell you that Fred Armisen's in it, but we won't tell you, like, what his character is or what he does, because it was kind of weird. But yeah, let's move on to the cinematography. I'm not gonna lie. For a sequel, because you figure sequels have a bigger budget than their predecessor, this, like Deadpool and like most scenes, actually, it felt cheap to me. It felt like Paramount made this movie on a weekend, and it just, I don't know. I didn't really care for the way it was shot. I felt like a really cheap comedy sequel you would see at the $5 Walmart bin. I don't know. It just looked very fake to me. And I didn't feel like, well, I mean, yes. Is this movie supposed to be grounded in reality? No. But I didn't feel like the way it was shot really added to the authenticity of it. Like, it didn't really do it for me. And I think for a comedy sequel, when its budget's supposed to be a little bit bigger, I just thought it looked worse than the first one in terms of the way it was shot. And it's, guys, here's the thing: like, a director's job is to get the best performance out of an actor. I'm fully aware of that. But if you look at Ben Stiller's work, this is a guy who has a visual eye. Even if you didn't like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, that movie is shot very, very well. Look at Tropic Thunder. that movie is shot very, very well. And I think Ben Stiller actually communicates with his cinematographer and really kind of hones in on a visual look for all of his movies. But it looks like this one, he just didn't even care, and I didn't really care for the way it was shot. So, and comedies are really hard for cinematography because they're not really focused on the way it looks, but I think you should at least try if you were a studio film, if you guys catch my drift. So, Matt, I mean, did you like the way it was shot? Did it look cheap to you? Did it look like it was a downgrade from the first one?
I wouldn't say necessarily a downgrade. Like, it looked fine once again, but going to the aspect that you were talking about, how it's hard to make a comedy look good, there's a cinematographer that's working with a lot of the Seth Rogen movies, Brendan Trouse. I think he did Neighbors and Night Before, and he makes those comedies look really good. Like, he actually brings a visual style to those movies that would usually be absent in other studio comedies. So I think that's really cool that he's been doing that. I think he's doing Neighbors too, so that's really exciting. But yeah, this Zoolander 2, I thought it didn't look that great. Like, it was pretty simple stuff, you know. It wasn't necessarily anything special. So once again, they could have done more with how absurd it was. They could have had more crazy shots and everything, but overall it was serviceable, I would say.
Okay, that's the best way to put it. It was serviceable for the movie. It's just but you're right. Like, the cinematographer that shoots all the Seth Rogen movies, those look really great. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can have good cinematography. Just fucking try. You're a studio, Paramount. Fucking put your money where your mouth is. And moving on to the special effects and the editing, I thought the special effects were pretty bad. Most of the green screen was just, no, it didn't really work for me. Editing wise, since I didn't really find this funny, the movie just drags for me. Like, Deadpool and Zoolander 2 have roughly the same time length, which is about an hour 40, hour 45. Zoolander 2 felt like it was 3 hours, not in the best way possible. I didn't like the way it was paced. It was just, like I said, I like the absurdity of the story, but just every time they, like, made a joke to where I didn't laugh, it just felt like it added 10 more minutes to the movie. So I just thought it was horribly paced, even for its absurdity. So I don't know. Matt, what do you think about the special effect, all the green screen that they used, and the way it was structured out? Because you did like it more than I did. So did you find the pace of it to be good? Did you find it to be a little slow? Like, what do you think?
It didn't drag all that much for me, so it really flew by for me. I could see myself watching this again. I thought it was just a fun comedy, you know. I wasn't taking it too seriously. It was just like I went in with very low expectations, and I came out surprised that I thought it was funny. So the pacing actually did fly by for me, since I enjoyed it. So the special effects, though, it did look a little bit cheap at parts, but towards the end there's it gets more special effect heavy. So I actually ended up thinking that it didn't look as bad as I thought it would, because I saw some of the earlier reviews mentioning, like you were saying, that the special effects weren't that good, and that, like, for a studio film it looked pretty cheap. But I was surprised that it looked a little bit better than I thought it would. Like, it was fine once again. Like, it wasn't, like, glaringly fake to me.
Okay, I'll give you that. Listen, we're going to disagree on this one. That's just how it is. To wrap up my overall thoughts and give you my grade, I don't think this is a funny movie at all. I think it's a bad movie. I just think this was a pointless sequel. I don't think it should have been made. I think it is the worst Ben Stiller directed movie I've ever seen. However, on a weird recommendation level, I'm going to tell you to go watch it, because it is a terrible comedy, but the story is so obscene and so absurd that you kind of just, like, you're sitting there in awe and in wonderment, and you're like, wow, they came up with this story. And I kind of dig it. But ultimately, it's not a good movie, guys. It is a terrible comedy for me. A big disappointment, since I liked the first one. I'm going to give Zoolander 2 a D+. I wouldn't even recommend this for Netflix if it was on there. So, Matt, just your overall thoughts, and what would you grade it?
Well, overall, you can tell I really like this movie. I just thought it was a fun comedy. I definitely recommend it, just on the fact that it's completely fucking absurd. and that like it's really a sight to be seen. It's like it's weird. It's very weird. So I'd recommend it, even though a lot of people probably are not going to find this funny, as you can see by like the Rotten Tomatoes score and everything. A lot of people are not liking this movie, but for some weird reason, this movie made me laugh. So, I'm gonna give this a B.
Oh my god!
I know that hurts you to hear that, but I'm sorry. I really I enjoyed this movie.
So let me ask you this question then: because I'm gonna tell people to go see Deadpool over the two, are you gonna do a coin flip on me and go on the other side and say you would pick Zoolander 2 as the one to go see?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay.
Oh my god!
I thought Zoolander was a lot funnier than Deadpool. To me.
Oh no. Okay. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. I'll never talk to you again. No, I'm just kidding. No, I do appreciate when people have different opinions because it makes it more fun. But I think Matt's crazy. He probably thinks I'm psychotic, but hey, that's the joy of movies, right? It's all about what we see in them that others don't. So that is our movie reviews. Those are our movie reviews, guys. Sorry, I stumbled a little bit. I'm terrible with my grammar. Yeah, so let me know what you thought of Deadpool and Zoolander 2. What was the best? What was the worst? Just let me know all your thoughts down below in that comment in that place that's right below my face. All right. Speaking of these two movies coming out, let's get into the box office results. Now, I advise my guests not to look at the numbers so I can have them guess. Now, Matt already knows what's number one, and he kind of knows the number of it. But as far as the rest of them go, Matt, can you do the best you can and guess the top five for me?
All right. Can you briefly remind me what came out last weekend?
Last weekend we had Hail Caesar and The Choice.
Okay, we'll have. I'll go number one Deadpool, number two How to Be Single, number three Zoolander, number four I'll go Hail Caesar, and number five I'll go The Revenant.
You got two right. You got the first one and the fifth one. So yeah, he is right on number five. Number five is The Revenant with 6.9 million. I love the fact that this movie keeps trucking along and keep making more money because I was worried. With a budget like 135 million, you need to make about 270, 280 roughly to break even. This movie's made 340 million worldwide, so The Revenant is definitely in the green right now, and that's fucking awesome. So, Revenant, congratulations with the 6.9. Number four, Zoolander 2 with 15.6 million. Now, I did say last weekend that this movie wouldn't even crack 10. It was semi-close. Its budget is not listed, but right now, worldwide, it's made 24 million. That's pretty bad, but we'll see how it lasts. Because next weekend there's not really much coming out, so we'll see. Number three, How to Be Single with 18.7 million. Now I didn't see How to Be Single, and when we get done with the box of results, I'll let Matt give it like a brief review of the movie real fast and everything. But its budget is 38 million, which is kind of a lot for that type of movie. So it needs to make about. What is that? 76, about 80 million with the marketing stuff. And it's made 26 worldwide. That's because this seems like the type of movie that'd be only good for Valentine's Day weekend, and then after that it won't last. But we'll see. We'll keep track of it. Number two, Kung Fu Panda 3 hung in there with 19 more million, and right now domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it's got 93 million. Worldwide, it's got 225, which is pretty good for that type of movie. Its budget is unknown, so good for that. Number one, guys, there comes a movie in a studio's repertoire, if you will, that will change the game completely for the genre. The last R-rated superhero movie or graphic novel I remember even coming out was Watchmen back in 2009. Warner Brothers lost a shit ton of money on that movie, even though I personally like it, and it's my favorite Zack Snyder movie. But every studio was hesitant to do an R-rated type of movie. 20th Century Fox took the gamble on Deadpool, and it fucking paid off. I think to date, this is the biggest opening movie for February. Deadpool's budget was $58 million. It needed to make about 116 with its marketing, by the way, which was outstanding. It probably added maybe, I would say 15, 20 million on top of that. So it needs to make about 130, 135 roughly, just give or take. It made 135 million domestically opening weekend. Worldwide, folks, Deadpool made 260 million worldwide in 3 fucking days. And this is an R-rated movie. I don't know about you, but this is going to open the floodgates for R-rated superhero movies. I will guarantee you that Warner Brothers will be less skeptical to do an R-rated like Suicide Squad sequel, or maybe like even a Joker movie, or even with 20th Century Fox doing an X-Force movie, making that rated R, or making maybe not even be hesitant on making the 3rd Wolverine rated R. It is outstanding how this is going to open up so many windows for everything. It blows my mind it made that much money. Like, what the fuck? That is so cool. Like, I cannot believe that many people went to go fucking see it. So, it makes me so excited for the future. Making Deadpool 2 rated R, maybe making an X-Force movie rated R, maybe making a possible X-Men movie rated R. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it makes my heart so happy. So, Matt, what's going through your mind right now? Did you even expect Deadpool to even reach 100 million, let alone 135?
Yeah, I was one of the people that thought that this would actually end up exceeding expectations box office wise. Like, I did think it would make around 100 million, so it did exceed those a little bit. But I have it pulled up here. These are the records it's broken so far.
Okay.
Largest February opening, it broke 50 Shades record, which was 85. So really blew that out of the water. Also broke largest President's Day weekend, largest R-rated opening weekend, largest R-rated comic book opening weekend, largest winter season opening weekend, largest opening for 20th Century Fox.
Jesus Christ. That is fucking awesome. I can't believe Deadpool was the one to do that. Like, out of all the movies that have existed, that was the one to do it. I don't even know what to say right now. I don't know what type of news we're going to hear tomorrow, but 20th Century Fox is going to open the floodgates and be like, Deadpool 2's coming, X-Force is coming, more X-Men movies. They are going to like announce so many things tomorrow that your internet's not going to be able to handle it. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm looking at the opening for X-Men Days of Future Past, which is my favorite X-Men movie, probably next to X2. It only opened up with 90 million. Deadpool, which was a risky movie to begin with, rated R, toppled it with 40 more million roughly. Like, that's... I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. There's going to be shit that's going to happen tomorrow, and I'm actually really excited to hear the news that 20th Century Fox is going to come out with, because it's going to come out with a shit ton of news. And I think what's going to be really fascinating is to see the carryover with the good word of mouth and stuff, to see Deadpool carry over into the second weekend. Because next weekend, guys, to be honest with you, we only have 3 movies that are coming out. We have The Witch, which I have seen. I recommend that one. Risen, which I'm seeing on Tuesday. And then Race, which is the Jesse Owens movie, I believe. And that is a race movie. So, now I sound racist. No, it is a race as in, like, foot race movie. No, I'm actually really curious to see how it's going to carry over. And Deadpool, fucking A, man. Fucking A. So, that's just incredible. And to give you guys a rough estimate, Deadpool made about 45, 47 million per day. Like, that's how much it made on Friday. And that blew expectations out of the water. And even on Sunday, they're projecting 45. And you guys have to keep in mind, tomorrow is President's Day. Now, I have it off at my job because I work for the city of Dallas, but, like, you know, a lot of kids are off too. So all these high schoolers are probably going to go fucking see it tomorrow. So it's going to make even more money tomorrow. So fuck me, man. I can't believe it made this much money. Like, the marketing campaign was so good. Like, 20th Century Fox is going to have to hire those people for every movie now because that marketing just exceeded expectations money-wise for this movie. So congratulations, Deadpool. You fucking kick ass. Yeah, for next week, guys, for episode 118, I will probably review Risen and The Witch for sure. I don't know if I'll be able to see Race or not in time, but I have seen The Witch, so I'll, you know, tell you my views on that on the podcast as well as Risen. So it should be a pretty good episode next week for episode 118. But in order to wrap this one up, I got to thank my guest, Matt, for coming on. Matt, where can the people find you online?
I'm on Twitter at Matt Likes Movies, and also I am on Letterboxd, which if you're a movie fan and you like social media, you should absolutely join Letterboxd. On that, I'm just Matt Saponar, which is Saponar. Yeah, that's a really fun site. You should join that if you haven't.
I put your Twitter in the description below as well. So I put your Twitter and your YouTube page. So go follow Matt, man. Like, you heard him talk for an hour and a half straight right now, and he knows his shit, man. So yeah, Matt, I want to thank you for coming on, man. Was it as terrible as you hoped it'd be?
Yeah, it was actually as awful as I wanted it to be, you know. But yeah, thank you for letting me come on the show. It was a fun time.
Awesome. And just to let you know, Matt, you know, if I'm running low on guests on a big comic book weekend or something, or a big event movie, I'll let you know, man, because it was fun having you on, so I really appreciate it. So with that being said, guys, if you guys want to follow me, it's at RealChaseley on Twitter and all that jazz. Hey, listen, if you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or SoundCloud, and you want a video version and you want to see me and Matt flail around with our faces, then link will be in the description below for that. So that is episode 117, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next week for another episode of Real Me and Colon, a movie podcast. And then listen, if you listen to this in entire hour and a half and you were not a movie fan, hopefully me and Matt convinced you to be one. I'm Chase Lee. Like I said, I will see you guys next week for episode 118. The intro and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. They are here in Dallas. Check them out in the description below. Thank you guys for listening. You guys are fucking awesome. Let's wrap this up. Let's play that outro music. Fucking Deadpool, son. Fuck yeah. God, I can't believe it made that much money. It makes me so excited. Oh, I can't wait for the future. Oh, I'll see you guys later.